Hello everyone. Today I'm going to do one of the Creative Memories challenges for July of 2020. So this is going to be example number 1. As you can see here, this is a 5 vertical photo challenge, and I'm going to use some of my graduation photos for this. And I've already pulled out some of the papers I want to use. I didn't want to go too traditional black and white because I like other colors. Green and orange are my favorite. I wanted to make it something that I really liked. So I decided to incorporate some of the black and white embellishments and some green and orange colors that I like. So stick with me and I'll show you what I turned this into. So I decided to do a mixture of plaids. This is like either a very, very dark brown or almost like a dark gray blackish background. And then these all came from the same fall paper pack from Creative Memories. So these lines here in this plaid match this. And then also these little wheat stems down here match that also. And I wanted to kind of break up the orange here and here. If you notice on the sketch, it has the banner pieces right directly on what this piece would be. I decided to move mine down because I wanted to use larger pictures than what they would have been using here. So I used full 4x6s for this back, and then I used 4x4¼ on the bottom. Because I wanted to keep my photos larger, it made sense for me to lower these down. And I also didn't need a title on this page because this is going to be the last page of my scrapbook, and I will have a page before it that is titled Graduation. So I don't need another title on this one. So I decided to move it down a little bit. So I'll show you what that will look like. So I have 3 4x6 photos here, and I want to bring them up to where it still shows a little bit of this plaid at the top. And then I have 2 that are 4x4¼ so just a little bit longer than they are wide. Okay, and I want these to show just a little bit of this pattern beneath it. So I'll bring those up about like right there probably. So about as much space on the bottom here as I'll leave the plaid up here. And I also matted all of these in just plain vellum paper. So this is just clear or semi-translucent vellum, no pattern to it or anything like that. I thought that went well with the kind of more formal look of the photos, and also it will let, these details show through, but it still provides a mat for it, so I liked that. And then I have these florals. I have 2 different packs. I have these, and then I have some black and white ones up here of different sorts. So I decided to try to mix these together to bring out the different colors. So I combined 3 different ones here that I think I'm going to put right there. And I think I'm going to put this here, so an orange with a black on top. And then one more, probably right up here. So black and white with an orange on it. And that way it kind of brings in the green and the orange, but also the black and darker colors. And then I did add, in the sketch, it has this little tab up here. So I did add a sticker that said celebrate. And there's also, it shows one here. So I'm going to see if I can find another little addition to put here. And since I like to do that visual triangle, I also might try to find a 3rd word and perhaps put it over here somewhere. So I'm gonna see what I can find and put this down, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I found a couple more little word stickers that I added in. So now I have celebrate at the top, yay right there, and memories down at the bottom. And that way there's just completing that visual triangle, and they're very subtle, but I think it adds a little extra and makes me happy that it's balanced. And then I have glued these flowers down. I have one more here that I'm just gonna glue down. I use the Art Glitter Glue. This is a really, really fine tip, and it dries super clear, acid-free, so I definitely recommend this for gluing small details. Okay, and then my final touch, I have these little, they're not quite enamel dots, they're more like the little rhinestones, but I have these from one of these packs of flower petals. So I'm gonna add these to the center. I think I'm gonna try to put like opposite colors. So I have some of these gold. I'm gonna put the gold one in the middle of the flower that doesn't have any gold in it. And then I have, let's see, I have clear, black, and gray. So I'm gonna do clear on this one down on the left. And then maybe black at the top right. And I think this is my final page. So I did once again, the visual triangle with the flower embellishments and with the words. And like I said, I'm not doing a title on this because it is going to go with a corresponding page that will have the title and some journaling on it. Okay, my next page is going to be challenge number 3 from the Creative Memories July 2020 virtual crop. And I'm going to do the matching page to the first page that I did, which is this one. And I'm gonna do the one that has the title and the journaling on it. So the pictures that I have for this page are 3 4x6 photos that are vertical. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to switch this and crop my page this way, I believe is how I'm going to do it. So I'm gonna use the matching paper and stuff that I used with my first page, so the similar designs and colors, and I'm gonna lay it out and then I'll come back and talk about what I decided to do. Okay, so this is sort of what I have come up with. I made a few changes as I usually do with these challenges. So as I mentioned, I have turned this from the original design to this way. And if you'll notice, these are all indicated to be the same size photo. What I decided to do was make my 2 outer photos a little bit smaller. I think it looks okay going this direction to have them offset, but I didn't like how it looked if I did it vertically like this. I didn't want this middle photo to be set down like that. So I decided to make these a little bit smaller and have it like that. I also did my title at the top instead of having it in the circle down there. And I put these flowers down here to mimic what I did on the other page. Use these same alternating black and white and then some of the more red, green, and orange flowers. And so I have some stacked and some just one level. And I kind of wanted them to be a little bit random and different. So the other thing that I changed was, if you notice on this, there's only one color of the circle and then this decoration. So I took my decoration, as I mentioned, I did that as the flowers, but I also wanted to keep this paper as the circle. So I did this layer here. Let me move these away. So I did this circle as the background. And then I wanted to not only bring in the black from my other page and from the title, but I wanted to have a different paper down for my journaling. So what I decided to do was cut a black circle out and put it on this. Originally I had cut them out to be, you know, just one fits inside of the other. So I used my new circle cutter from Creative Memories for this. The pattern circle is the internal red blade, and this one is the internal blue blade. However, when I laid it down and I did it like this, to where there's a little bit more space at the bottom and then this meets at the top, I liked how that looked better. So that's how I'm going to do it. And this is the finished page. I have everything down. The only thing I haven't done is the journaling. So to point out a few things, I did try to do the triangle again with letters. So the title, I have these embellishments here, achieve and dream, and then the 2020 down here at the bottom. So 3 of those. And I also did 3 of these stars that have the silver that matches the title and these stickers. And I also didn't put these gems, I'd put them in the center of like every other flower because I just didn't want it to be too blingy, but I did like how it picked up on the silver. So what I will do is, because there's silver now tied in with this, I will journal here in silver pen, and that will show up very well on this black also. Hey everyone, I am back with challenge number 2. This is a 2-page layout as such. So for my photos, the way that they're working out, I actually am going to need to flip these. So this is going to be my left-hand page and this will be my right-hand page. So I've already started to lay some of this out to see how I'm gonna end up putting it together. This is my kind of preliminary idea of what this page will be. So I have these photos matted. I took a light green cardstock and I used the Beneath the Ponds decorative paper from Creative Memories to do the bottom and then this strip. And I also am using the vitamin C fern and leaf details. So as you can see in here, it has this kind of banner strip. I didn't want to use these banner flags or flowers, kind of like how it has here. I wanted to incorporate these ferns because this is a page about New Zealand. And I thought that this would be an interesting way to do that. So I actually have this piece of dark green cardstock. So I use dark green cardstock to do my matting on my photos. And I use my jumbo oval that I have to just cut a strip that loops. And it's not as light of a curve as this, but I thought it would be at least something for these to kind of follow. And I think it actually works well because I don't really want to cover too much of this photo. This is kind of the part that I would want to cover anyway. So I think I'm going to do that and then do these little leaves in the middle here. I'll add my title later, probably in a color to match this very dark brown or almost black color. And I think that goes well with these black swans too. And then I think I'm going to add maybe a little sentiment here. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to add in for that yet. I may do another little piece of this dark black paper here and cut it to look like that. So I'll add that in afterwards. The other page that I have sort of laid out is this one. And this would be this representation. So on this one, I wanted to add a title to this because these, although they're going to be next to each other, they're actually from two different events. So I wanted to add this piece at the top to be my title background. And this mimics the bottom here. It has this black strip that I'm putting above this paper. So I think that that will work well. I, just as I did on the other page, added the ferns or leaves instead of these pieces and kept the same color scheme completely. So that way, even though they're two different events, they will mesh together very well. So this will be what they will look like next to each other. So like that. And then with a title here and a title there. So I think that I'm going to use the same black paper with these crosses on it to do that small embellishment here. And remember, I have these flipped. So I will add that in and come back and see how it looks. Okay, so here is my finished page for this side. I didn't add a little thing there. I didn't find anything that I really thought would be fitting, and I also didn't, this paper down here I just love, and I didn't want to cover up any more than I already was with these, so I decided to not add that part. And I didn't want to add another leaf because I have my triangle here that I'm working with, and I'm just happy with that. And then my other page I have here. So I think this turned out fine. I put this black here so these will sit next to each other like this. So I thought that they both have the same bottom stripe to tie them together, but I also thought it'd be nice to bring in this title block backing over here for that portion, like it shows there. And then, like I said, I added this so that I could put the title there because this page is transitioning to a different event during our vacation. Okay, and I think that is it. I'm going to add my titles later. I do those on a Cricut, and so I'll add those in once I'm done with the album probably. Oh, and I also added this one little sticker here that came from a Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Great Escape sticker book. And this just says a little detour because my husband decided to go pet this cat. He cannot resist a cat, must pet. So that was an appropriate sticker for that. So Thank you for watching, and I will come back with the next page. Hi friends, here is challenge number 6 for the July Creative Memories virtual crop. And I have gone ahead and laid my paper down. I did this with the Beneath the Pines pack, and these are just alternating different page types. So I did, I tried to mimic both sides. So I'll show you this right side a little bit better. And because these are small strips, I did lay them directly down on the scrapbook page, just to avoid having to use an extra 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I used this pebbly look on both sides, and that was because the pictures that I'm putting on these pages are at like a rock garden, and I thought that those pebbly looks kind of mimicked that. And then I used the ferns because this is still New Zealand, and I just thought this worked really well for that. This is something that I would never have done on my own without this challenge. I just don't think to cut this many small strips of paper like that, but I like how it looks. So I've already taken my photos and cut them down, and I matted these just on black paper because these little pebble marks are black, and I thought that with so much going on, black would be a logical color to mat these with. So if I'm matching that challenge design, my 4x6 would go down here at the bottom. And I have 2 4x4s. This one I did as a 4x3, so it goes down here on this side. Sort of like that, and then this is where your journaling would be, up here. And these are all a little bit offset, so I'll play with this and get them just the way that I want, and then glue them down and do some embellishments. And then on the right side over here, I kept with the black mats, and I have 2 4x6s that are next to each other, and then I have 1 4x4. So something like that is what that will be, and then I'll put an embellishment there, and then I'll have a title up here for both pages because this is the same place, and then I'll add some embellishments to this also. So I'll go ahead and add all that in, and then I'll come back with the finished page, 2-page layout. This is the finished page for this side. I also have these couple stickers here that are word stickers. So that says Let's Explore. This one down here says Off the Beaten Path. That just ties to that visual triangle. This sticker up here came from the Creative Memories Beneath the Pines pack that this paper came from. And the other 2 stickers came from the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Great Escape 4x6 sticker book, which I really like. And then I also decided to add 1 strip of washi tape here just because there was the way the layout was designed was to have a lot of empty space between these photos. I don't mind some of that, but after doing it for a few space like that, I kind of thought that maybe it would look better if I somehow added something to hide a little bit of that. So I did add that strip, and that ties in with this fern paper down here also, so I thought it looked nice, and the colors work well together. And then on the right side, I laid these guys down. These have a small space. From that same Simple Stories pack, I added a sticker that says Rome, and then one down here that says Climb Every Mountain. So once again, a word visual triangle. And the title will go up here after I make it on my Cricut. And I'll probably do it in either a light green to kind of play off this fern paper, or maybe more like a pale blue that goes along with these, like a teal blue. So I think that'll tie things well together, and hopefully that will pop off that white and black background pretty well. I'll try to do like a bold font. Here is challenge number 4. This is a 2-page layout also, and I am doing this with pictures from Milford Sound in New Zealand. So I wanted this to be kind of a nautical theme. I had trouble with this to some degree with the colors. I wanted to bring out the orange and the kayak, so I did add this orange, which I think is all right, but I do think that needs something else to help tie it together. So I'm going to see if I can bring in some embellishments and stuff that will help it tie together a little bit better. The main objective for this page was that I wanted to use some of my matte packs that I buy and then never use. I'm really, really bad about not using matte packs that I buy. So I did have a selection of matte packs from 2 different nautical collections that have just been sitting in my craft storage, and I was determined to use those. So that's why each of the mattes, these are slightly different. They all kind of go together with the blues, but they're a little bit different in pattern. And so that's also why I wanted to select these background colors as solids, because I didn't want to have too much pattern, but I struggle with what colors to choose. So I'd end up picking the orange from the kayaks and the dark green from the trees, because there's trees all around where we were kayaking. And I used this more muted blue and then a more muted kind of a teal that tied in with this background paper and with some of the matte packs. So I think I'm all right with this for right now. And just, you know, these things are gonna also transfer to the next page. If you can see here in this challenge, they want the pages to really flow together, which I love. I love things like that when you know the pages really go well together and it makes you look from one side to the other. So I'm just gonna end up cutting these and then they'll be on the next page, which we'll see when I'm done. But for right now, I'm just gonna play around with this a little bit more, try to make the colors flow a little bit better by adding embellishments, and then I'll move on to the next page and show you how that goes. Here is page 1 of challenge 4 done. So I added a few little embellishments. I found a sticker that matched that orange from a travel pack. And this is like dropping a pin on a location. So that was appropriate. This is travel. I also added 3 word stickers: boating, easy breezy, and saltwater. I also added a border sticker to the bottom of this green section. So these are waves. I thought that helped break up the squareness of things going on and also brought the blue up into it. And finally, I added some dots. These are like the pearlized type ones. So I had a dark blue one and a green one, and then I added a gem type one that's blue to kind of bring the blue and the green together. I don't know if that was totally necessary, but I kept feeling like I needed to add other things to draw attention away from the orange that kind of seemed out of place. So I feel like now it all kind of ties together better. So I like how this turned out. And I think I'll probably end up doing maybe an orange handwriting, or at least an orange like title, and then maybe dark blue handwriting. And I think that will even further tie it together. And this is supposed to be where the title will go. I'll have to do a smaller title, but I think I might do that. I could do it in a dark green, or I could try to do it in orange. I'll have to kind of play with that and see what I like the best, but I definitely want to keep tying these colors together to make sure this is cohesive. Here is the second page to this layout. I'm gonna lay these next to each other so you can see them side by side. So you can see when I did this middle part, I literally just laid the pages next to each other to line that up perfectly. I'm having trouble getting it just perfect, but that way in the scrapbook, when it's next to each other, they'll look totally lined up. Back there a little bit more. So I think that turned out really well. I like the orange better when you see it as a 2-page layout. It really ties it together, having it on both sides. And I did switch the layup out a little bit on this one because in the challenge, it has 2 vertical 4x6s and 1 horizontal 4x6. And I had 2 horizontal and 1 vertical, so I was switched. So I did shift it to where it was more like this, but then I didn't want to do these blocks, these little rectangles like that. So I decided to take a piece out of a sheet of paper that I had that had some lines on it. And this isn't the exact orange that's over here, but it really is pretty close and definitely ties well together. So that was a nice touch, and it's very ocean themed. I think that will go well with my journaling because we actually went to an underwater observatory where they had some coral and stuff. So I think that ties in pretty well. And then I did add some words. I put happy, exclamation point down here, and coast to coast, which I thought was appropriate because that was the day that we had driven from one side of New Zealand to the other to visit Milford Sound. So I thought that worked. And then to complete that word visual triangle, I'll have some journaling here, so that will actually complete that once that journaling is done. And I think that turned out pretty well. This is one that I struggled with a little bit. I didn't think it was coming together exactly how I wanted it to, but I actually think it looks okay. And I didn't even intend to do this, but like this and this, that pattern is the same. So I think that even kind of bounces off each other and balances. So overall, I'm really happy with how that turned out, and I think that this just proves just to keep trying, even if you're struggling, and just make changes along the way. So, all right, on to the next one. Here we have the last of the challenges. This is number 5. And this is a 1-page layout with 1 vertical photo and 2 horizontal, or you could trim verticals if they, didn't have too much photo material in it. I did happen to have a page that needed 1 vertical and 2 horizontal. This is not complete yet. I did trim this exterior. I just took my trimmer and made this, I cut in 1/2 inch on each side. So this is a very flashy paper that I wasn't sure how I was gonna be able to use, and I liked it for this because it was beachy. This is a beach scene, and so this is the inside of what I cut out, so you can see it's kind of shimmery. I think I'm gonna tie it in with some other beach photos that I have for some pages that are nearby this, but I like that it's just a small touch. And from there, I kept focusing on that pink color that was in that paper. So from there, I went and got this paper, which is a ferny, floral, and it has that same pink. And then from that paper, I went and grabbed some green. So this is a little bit of a darker green paper, and this is a very, very pale green paper. Let's see if I have a piece of it to show you. It's got like yellows and very like watercolor look to it. And I thought that tied in with the pink and the green that was going on, but it was a little bit more muted. And then I took this paper right here, this dark green. The back of it is actually this yellow beige stripe. So I thought that would go well with everything also and be more like a sand color. So that's where I'm at right now with this. In this challenge, there's a lot of decoration going on down here at the bottom. So I did do this shape here, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for all these other embellishments along here. So I'm not exactly sure. I think something shell-like would go well. I'm not really sure if I have any shell stickers. So I'm gonna have to play around and see what I can find. There's also what I would think of as like a sticker border. I do have a shell sticker runner here from an old set. I think this is either the Maritime set or the Deep Blue Sea set from Creative Memories. So I think I might put these shells just kind of like right beneath or right above this green and see how that looks. And then I'll bring some more blue into it. So maybe I'll do some blue accents. So this is another one that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge to try to figure out how it all goes together with the supplies that I have. So I will come back and show you what I end up coming up with, and hopefully it turns out. All right, here we are with the finished page. I actually really like this. I was thinking that I wasn't gonna have good stickers or embellishments for this, and I didn't think what I had was ideal. I was thinking that shells would be better, but I did do the shell sticker runner here, and I think that tied that in really well. I like that. And then I found this Live in the Moment. This is actually like a cardboard sticker, so it's high, but I also added some foam dots behind it, so it's a little bit lifted. And then this is one of these like foam stickers. So that says vacation. Obviously it's vacation because it's a vacation album, but I thought that the color tied in really, really well. And then it also adds, letters here, letters there, and then I'll have journaling down here. So there'll be 3 places where there'll be lettering. And I also took some of the stars that came with this. They're the same green, and that ties everything in. So I actually really like that. So this is the challenge. That's how I did it. You can tell I didn't add nearly as much, embellishments or flowers or things like that like they had suggested, but I used such a bright, colorful background for this, and I used such a bright, colorful trim. I think that if I had done a whole bunch more, it actually may have looked worse. So I'm really happy with how this turned out.